This story is one of the most disturbing I've ever come across. And if you're the kind of person who checks behind the shower curtain before using the bathroom, you might want to do that now. In the fall of 2007, the Maddox family, Susan, her husband James, and their 9-year-old daughter Ella, moved into an old farmhouse built in the 1930s. It sat on 5 acres of forest, far from town. It was peaceful. Too peaceful. The first night, Susan was unpacking in the kitchen when she heard what sounded like scratching behind the walls. Not constant. Just brief. Then silence. She assumed it was mice. Over the next few days, the scratching got louder. Sometimes it sounded like shuffling, like something dragging across the wall beams. James checked the crawlspace. The attic. Nothing. But then, things got weirder. One morning, Ella told her mom something strange. "Mom, the man in the wall says he likes my drawings." Susan froze. "What man?" "The one in my wall. He says his name is Peter." Susan tried not to panic. She told Ella not to make up stories. Kids have imaginations, right? But that night, after Ella went to bed, Susan passed by her room, and heard her daughter whispering. She put her ear to the door. Silence. Then a voice, deep, adult, and male, whispered back. "You're my favorite, Ella." James ripped open the drywall the next day. There was nothing behind it. Just beams and insulation. They called the police. They said the family was probably just stressed. That night, they heard tapping behind Ella's headboard, in threes. Tap, tap, tap. James and Susan burst into the room. Ella was fast asleep. Suddenly, from the wall, a voice whispered, "Don't take her away from me." The Maddox family fled the house and stayed at a hotel. But James was determined to find the truth. He came back the next morning with a contractor friend and tore apart the back wall of Ella's room. Behind it, hidden in a narrow crawlspace just 20 inches wide, they found something horrific. Blankets. Candy wrappers. Old Polaroid photos of Ella taken from inside the wall. And a small voice recorder. They called the police. Hours later, they found him, a former tenant's adult son who had gone missing 6 years earlier. He had been living in the walls, crawling between rooms, speaking through vents. He had memorized their routines. Whispered to Ella while her parents slept. And he truly believed she was his. The man was arrested, declared mentally unstable, and placed in psychiatric care. The Maddox family never returned to that house. And for years afterward, Ella refused to sleep in any room that shared a wall. Because sometimes, when it was quiet, she swore she could still hear Peter whispering her name. If you enjoyed this story, you'll probably like the one I did about the woman who heard breathing in her closet, when no one was home. I'll link it here. Otherwise, I'll see you next week with another disturbing tale.